Authenticity is all about bridging the gap between who you really are and how you express yourself. If that gap is too wide, you might experience things like being stuck in life, not being sure where to go or what sort of goals you should pursue, and generally you might feel a little bit of doubt and lack of confidence. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to be more authentic and develop a clear vision for yourself and your life. My name is Joanna and I'm a developmental coach. I help people with the process of self-transformation, becoming more authentic and clear about the vision for their life. So let's start with exploring what is really authenticity. Authenticity is all about, as you might probably already guess, is about alignment between who you are and how you express yourself, how your life looks like. You might also call it kind of alignment between your ego, your internal world, and the outer reality, your persona. So how you come out in different situations, how you deal with people, how you express yourself, how you express your values, what sort of goals you pursue. So we often think of authenticity as being in kind of black and white. So either someone is authentic or not. But actually authenticity is a really big spectrum. So some people are a bit more authentic than others. Some people are, super authentic. And some people might struggle with kind of getting this alignment between the inner and the outer world. So authenticity is also about kind of having greater clarity on who you are, what is truly important for you, and sticking to these values and beliefs that you have. So it's not really about it's not so much about always being the same, every single circumstances, every single situation. That might be very difficult. But it's more about being more flexible, more adaptable to changing circumstances, whilst having some kind of core beliefs or values unchanged in a sense. So we all have some stable traits, like certain personality traits that are stable, like some people are more introvert than others. But beyond this personality traits, there is a whole sea of possibility of who you are and who you can be. So essentially also authenticity is this process of creating yourself, of inventing yourself, and going through life in the kind of pursuit of gaining greater self-awareness, understanding of yourself and the world around you. So in overall, it is all about this coherence or a coherent system of values, beliefs, and the courage to approach life, even if in certain situations you might feel like very maybe uncertain or ambivalent, but having that willingness to act from a place of integrity and coherence and authenticity helps you to get this courage to actually be willing to learn and adapt to different circumstances and change if you need to. So I know there is a little paradox, because on the one side you want to be authentic and genuine and have some sort of stable system, but at the same time you also want to be adaptable and be willing to change accordingly to the situation that you are in. So that's a little conflict that can be resolved by, again, knowing yourself and knowing how much can you kind of compromise, how much can you maybe sacrifice at times, how much you're willing to change, and also knowing things that are a little bit more permanent within you, a little bit more stable, a little bit more like creating a very foundation or a basis of your personality. Lots of people emphasize the importance of authenticity, but what are the actual benefits of being authentic? Because I think in a way authenticity can be a little bit idealized or glorified to a point where we strive to this ideal, but we don't really know where we're going. And what's the point of being authentic? I mean, there are plenty of people who are not very authentic and they do just fine in life. But it doesn't mean that they can or experience life from this deeper level of when someone is authentic, for example. So benefits, obviously, of being authentic include more genuine relationships, more authentic relationships, right? We all probably have some sort of preconceived ideas about people who are maybe a little bit fake or not very genuine, and we stay very wary of them. We stay maybe we'll not open up to them as much as we would do with an authentic person, with someone who we would see as genuine and present and kind of having this integrity, because it makes us safe. It makes us trust that person a little bit more. So obviously, one of the major benefits of authenticity is this deeper and more genuine relationships with other people, especially if they can perceive you as being more coherent, more stable over time than other people. Another benefit of authenticity is being more clear on what you want, what is important for you, what sort of goals are worth striving for, what problems are worth solving for you, and generally what is important for you in life, so that you can arrange your life according to these values and what you find important. Having this clarity in turn can boost your confidence, can boost your maybe self-efficacy and self-worth in general, because then you're continuously moving towards the direction that feels right for you. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to just clarify one direction in your life, one goal or several goals, and remain completely stable for 5, 10, 20 years. That's not what it means. It's more like, if you make up your mind, if you find out that something is important for you, you just go and get it, basically. But if you learn more about yourself, obviously your goals are they're gonna change accordingly to the knowledge you have about yourself. So kind of the external world becomes more aligned with your internal world, with your internal values. And I think this is very different to people who might struggle with authenticity. And I think we all know at least one person in our life who might start 1 million different projects but never complete any of them. So kind of constantly exploring different goals, different projects, but never completing anything, and getting maybe bored or getting discouraged after a while. So the reason why I think it's manifesting this problem with authenticity is that because probably they don't know themselves very much. So at this point, I think it's worth to clarify, when I speak about this, maybe issues with authenticity, it doesn't mean that someone who struggles with authenticity is not genuine or lies all the time or is a fake. Again, as I said before, it's all a spectrum. So some people are a bit more authentic than others. And it doesn't mean that when we do struggle with authenticity, it doesn't mean that we do it consciously, that we do it on purpose to conceive something or to deceive other people. So that's something to keep in mind as well, because I don't want to make everyone feel guilty for not meeting some kind of ideal. And certainly I'm not there either to meet that ideal of perfect authenticity, and I don't think that even exists to begin with. Because authenticity provides this kind of more clarity, more willingness to look into yourself, it's way easier to learn from your mistakes when you make this authenticity to be your project. So you craft yourself, you develop yourself, you create yourself in the process as you pursue the truth, as you learn about your strengths, weaknesses, what truly matters to you. So it is easier to learn from mistakes, because then you stop seeing the mistakes and failures as mistakes and failures, but you see them as opportunity, as an additional insight into yourself. You see it as basically a simple opportunity for learning, so that you can, conclude certain things about yourself or other people or the world around you, and then adapt accordingly. So that's authenticity. It's not about keeping permanently or sticking permanently to one self-definition or your persona, but it's willingness to sometimes experience a little bit more ambivalence and uncertainty in going into this state of simple not knowing, so that you can welcome new information and you can actually learn about yourself. And last major benefits that I can think of being more authentic is kind of separating yourself and your values, your beliefs from social expectations. And I think this one is one of the most important benefits of authenticity, because it starts giving you more choice, more freedom in life, so that you start making decisions and set goals for yourself that are truly important for you. They are not about meeting people's expectations. They are not about gaining approval or validation or keeping you safe from maybe criticism or being ridiculed or misunderstood. You kind of sacrifice that safety for greater clarity, greater freedom, greater agency and autonomy in your life. So I think it's a quite an important benefit, because it's like a foundation. If you have the freedom to make decisions, if you have the greater freedom to be yourself and to pursue things that are important for you, I think that's a big win. So I've been talking a lot about benefits of authenticity and what sort of characteristics we can expect from someone who is authentic, but how to get there, how to be more authentic, how to make this authenticity our project in our life, so that we can start this process of maybe self-transformation and growth and kind of be a little bit more in control of it, so that we can create ourselves in the process as we go through life. One of the models that can be very helpful in working with authenticity or working on becoming more authentic is the 4 components model developed by Kernis and Goldman. So accordingly to this model, which has been refined over the years, authenticity has 4 major components. The first one is self-awareness. Yes, the self is multiple. So it's not just the self-awareness, but knowing how you present yourself, how you are in different situations, how different situations provoke different parts of you. So self-awareness is willing to be open about learning about different parts of you, basically. Learning to pursue the potential truth, even if it's uncomfortable at times. And that kind of reduces defensiveness as well, because then there is no one particular self that you need to protect, as many people as the general actually human tendency is to get defensive and to stick to one particular self-concept. So self-awareness, again, is learning about yourself. The second component of authenticity is something called balance processing. So this is basically about striving for as broader perspective as you can get. It's about kind of enhancing your perception and willingness to see yourself, situations, and life in general from multiple perspectives. So again, you leave behind one stable view, one kind of stubborn way that you see life and yourself, one stable concept of who you think you are, and you go and pursue this more flexible ideas. So when, for example, this can manifest like when you have a problem in your life, you don't go ahead and just go with a known solution that you've been using for years, but you're actually willing to listen to different perspectives. You're willing to look at this problem from different perspectives. You're willing to look at yourself from different perspectives to get more information. So obviously it's not just about getting this benefit in the external world, but also it allows you to learn more about yourself. So it's not just about your own perspective, your own particular point of view, but it's more about becoming more flexible and seeing things from multiple perspectives, even if they change and challenge your existing point of view. And maybe that's the whole point, because then you can expand, then you can see more, and then you can continue pursuing the truth about yourself or the world around you. Now, the third component is all about relational transparency. So as the name suggests, it's all about being honest and genuine in relationship. And it's basically about how you express yourself, what sort of person you are with other people. Are you choose to conceive certain things from others, or are you more open? So this can create some issues, maybe some doubts, like how much do you express yourself? And we know sometimes in some situations, maybe it's better to withhold your opinions. Does it make you inauthentic? depends how you view yourself and authenticity and the reasons of withholding information from others, for example. But generally, relational transparency is to get as accurate self-expression as your inner world is. So if you're, for example, angry at someone, it's not about, completely expressing everything that you have inside and blowing things out of proportion or shouting at someone. But it's about maybe finding this good balance where you can express some of the anger, or you can express the fact that you are angry, but at the same time you kind of mediate and navigate other people's needs, right? What is appropriate in the situation. So relational transparency is striving for accurate and authentic self-expression. So being honest, avoiding lies, and we all lie to some extent. So that's another area for exploration. Like, why do you lie? In what situations do you lie? What do you gain by lying? This sort of things. And the last component, the fourth component of this model of authenticity, is internalized moral perspective. So what it means is that you have specific values or moral perspectives simply, or ethical perspectives and beliefs that you hold, and you kind of keep them stable accordingly to different situations. So we know people who sometimes say, oh yeah, I'm like this, but then they go and act completely differently. Or they might feel like they might express that they never lie, to use the same example I just mentioned. Or they might express that they never get angry with people, right? So they kind of get in this position of being self-righteous. And we all have this tendency, it's a human tendency, to kind of overlook our own flaws, but then go and judge other people for having them. So with internalized moral perspective, we turn inwards. We stop paying so much attention to what other people are doing and evaluating or judging their behaviors and actions in lives. We look inwards and evaluate ourselves and whether we live accordingly to the values that we have chosen for ourselves, and strive for the best, strive for some sort of idea that we might be having. So in conclusion, to work on being more authentic, it helps to break it down into four major components: self-awareness, balanced processing, which is about expanding your perspective, looking at yourself and life from multiple perspectives, relational transparency, and internalized moral perspective, which is monitoring your tendency to be self-righteous and overlook your own flaws and judge other people instead. So if you are subscribed to my newsletter, you're going to receive more tips on how to work specifically with each of these components within the next few days. And if you haven't subscribed yet, there is a link in the description so you can start your free mind mastery journey and join my newsletter. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.